2018. I'm going to be your official commentator, hopefully for the next 10 weeks, which means we're going to qualify and for the finals and win the finals. So we're going to be watching all these best world players at the same time in the same league. Tonight, you'll be able to watch the match between Montreal Chessbrahs and Miami Champions. I'll be here with you. We will be analyzing. Of course, you can post your questions there here in the chat room. You can always ask your, I'll try to follow the games, try to professionally do my job. And if I find times between the pauses in these games, definitely I'll try to answer your questions. By the way, it's very important to say that all your donations, and of course, apart from these donations, subscribing, you can do it, but we won't be able to put that during the games, but at the end of the broadcast. So please have patience, and whoever come up with any donation, and of course you're welcome to do that, please just to know it is not going to pop up immediately here on the screen, but after that. Well, let's get started. Fasten your seat belts and let's get flying. Hopefully you all remember last year and last year experience. We were this is the second season of this Pro League. In the first season, Montreal Chessbrahs had an amazing appearance. That was like really good. By the way, I'm going to just adjust my monitor a little bit more and a little bit better. Last year, if you remember, we were very unlucky. We played the semifinals. We played against the champions there. And we lost after 3 tie breaks. Hopefully this year we're gonna have more luck, but of course there are some changes in the squad, so I just have to let you know about that. Once again, for all of you who just joined, welcome. Once again, this is official Chessbrahs Pro League season 2018, second season of the Pro League, and hopefully for the next 10 weeks you'll watch us very successfully here. We're glad you're here, and I just have to give you some informal introduction about this tournament, about this competition, because that's why I had to keep my screen on with the rules. And it's very important to immediately let you know about all these things, so you cannot come up with questions. What if this? What if that? How many themes are in? So like this. First of all, you have to know that I just had to put it on the paper so it to be better. So we have 4 divisions. In each division, you have 8 teams. You have 4 divisions. You have Pacific, Central, Eastern and Atlantic division. You have 32 teams in total, and each team consists of 6 to 16 players maximum. So minimum 6, maximum 16 players. In every single moment in a team, you need to have 2 local players. There is a possibility to have 1 streamer and to have 1 free agent. By the way, I just mentioned that we have 4 divisions, each division 8 teams, and what is very important to know is that 4 top teams from each division qualify for the 8 finals. Of course, afterwards you have 8 finals, knockout rounds. You have 8 finals, quarterfinals, semi-final, and final. And that's why I kept saying, let's hope for 10 weeks between us and The bottom two teams from each division will be removed, and they would have to qualify and to compete afterwards to play the Pro League for the next following season. In the regular season, there will be, of course, 7 mandatory matches between all these teams from each division. In our division, we have, of course, 8 teams. The very first match is tonight against the Miami champions. By the way, I gotta give you the names of the guys who will compete against our guys tonight. First of all, I have to introduce our players tonight. We all know who are our players, but tonight that's Ivan Saric, best Croatian and one of the best South European players right now, 26-62 federated player. We have a great player. He's a free agent, and of course we just hope that he's going to be a great replacement for our Fabiano Caruana and Li Chao from the last year. Then we'll have a new GM. We'll have to cheer up this guy and to wish him the best of luck. Hambleton. Then we have third board Rainier Castellanos from Spain, but seated in Montreal for the last couple of years. And of course, Michael Kleinman, fourth board tonight. On the other hand, they are going to be facing off Miami champions, very strong team tonight. They will have two pretty strong GMs. Both of these guys are around over 2600. One is 2650, actually 2665. Iturizaga from Venezuela, strong GM. I even faced him once. Unfortunately, I lost. Then you have Quesada, 2620. So these guys, probably they put all their hopes in these two guys, but of course our guys are not naive as well. Then you have Ludwig, 2396, and Corey Acor, 2284. So these are the names for tonight's match. Hopefully you'll enjoy these games, and hopefully we'll be able to see some really nice games, and of course wins by our teammates. By the way, apart from Ivan Saric from Croatia, apart from Hambleton from Canada, Rainier Castellanos originally from Spain, Michael Kleinman from Canada, we also have, of course, who else but Hui Fan, the best woman in the world, then Eric Hansen, founder of Chessbrahs, then you have Robin van Kempen, then Hua Lefong, of course, Dr. Elias, and please, I really have to apologize if I forgot somebody else's name. Those are the guys who are going to be able to actually, we will be able to watch for the next couple of weeks. And by the way, you should always stay tuned with, in the meantime, for example, after like each week with the latest updates and the news about the team and who are going to be the players for the next week. Of course, all our matches will be on Thursdays around the same time, maybe with some slight differences, but basically Thursdays around this time. And hopefully you are going to enjoy these games. Let's get started. There. We're just expecting every single moment games to begin. By the way, reading those official rules, I read that if somebody loses on connection, that's the way it is, unless it's on chess.com. Also, I read that there is another thing, speaking that every single game, they have like 2 minutes to wait for the player to come, possible third minute, and then player could lose his game and could be forfeited. Then there is another thing you have to know about this competition. there are, of course, anti-cheating policies, but I believe about all these things a little bit later. We have the first game, Michael Klein. Let's go to the game of Michael Kleinman and Eduardo Benelli Iturrizaga from Venezuela. So Michael Kleinman, white pieces against Eduardo Iturrizaga. Kleinman went for his favorite king's opening, e4, c5, knight f3, g6. This is nothing else but accelerated dragon. And after like knight e4, knight f, yeah, exactly, c4, he went for the Marazzi bind, and g6, knight f6. Of course, this is nothing else but the typical Marazzi bind. Last move is d6. Black has like two possibilities: to take early on d4 or to play delaying variation with the bishop g7, afterwards taking on d4, playing like bishop d7, setting that light square bishop on c6 and going for that. Let's follow this game a little bit more. By the way, I just have to say, in today's lineups, this guy is the highest rated opponent of the Miami champions. So once again, well-known grandmaster from Venezuela, Iturrizaga, and our lowest rated guy, international master Michael Kleinman. For example, this is an improvement in comparison. You know, like the last year, Kleinman was like barely 2200 player. Now he's already an IM, so this is like big improvement for our team. Also, probably he wants to play rook e3, rook h3. That's a nice idea. I like this one. I remember exactly. I remember one Serbian GM used it once. Idea was if this guy hadn't played e5, idea was rook h3 followed by queen h6, and in case of h5 to go with some rook h5, g takes h5, and queen g5. But e5 is probably the best move in this position. I also believe so, because now on rook h3, simply Iturrizaga could play and go for h5 and stop the queen g5 variation. Let's get moving to the game of Hambleton. Hambleton, he's facing Unieski Quesada, Cuban GM, 2620 GM, and I'd like to check this game. Oh, we've got an interesting variation here. We've got something very nice. It's the let's get moving from the first move just to see an opening. So this was an English opening. Hambleton went for c4. He went for English c4, e5, g3, knight c6. By the way, this variation with bishop g2, bishop c5, it's called Karpov variation. And here, idea by black is to play a6 and to make shelter for that bishop on a7, hiding that bishop there, and just eventually looking to do something afterwards. After like knight c3, a6, knight f3, d6, a3, bishop a7, Aman went for d4. Reading some books about this variation and some articles, I actually read somewhere that this is absolutely the best variation for white. Of course, Aman is lately, let's just say, very hot. Speaking of his theory, he's been playing for like last couple of months very actively, doing all these competitions, getting his GM norms, getting great results, even some great scalps against good players. And Aman is very like updated with like freshest theory, and I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. And just like I told you, I read somewhere that this is like a really good opportunity for white to go with the knight f3 and e3. Usually players go with e3, knight g on e2 and d4. He went with the knight, and other type of guys go for traditional knight f3, d3, and the typical system like that. But Aman goes with knight f3, e3, and d4, and we do like this opening. By the way, how should black play this one? I'm very familiar with this one because this is one of my favorite lines with the black pieces. Knight should go to f6 because usually in these positions knight goes to e7, then black captures d4, knight goes on f5, provoking some d5. They want to provoke d5 because they want to open up the bishop on a7, but in this case, knight should go on f6. They should make short castle and play h6. Similar idea with the idea of bishop f5 and making shelter and hiding that bishop on h7 eventually. So I'm expecting by Quesada to play probably the best variation here. Knight f6, short castle, h6, placing his bishop on f5 and eventually hiding it on h7. This is a little bit bizarre chess situation. You just play a modern good opening where you place both of your bishops on the edge of the board. One goes on a7, another one goes on h7. By the way, because I see like a lot of subscriptions at the moment, and we do not have nothing against the nations, all these things will pop up in the end of this broadcast and stream, so please have patience for these guys. Okay, I just told you what are the ideas for Hambleton and his opponent. Let's go and let's check the game between our Rainier Castellanos and John Ludwig from United States. So this is quite an interesting game. Let's get started with the first moves here. So we just have to start from the very beginning. I already see some hanging pawn structure. So let's just go from e4, c5, knight f3, e6. It's so-called Kleinman of defense, and John Ludwig went for c3, transposing into the elephant position. After knight f6, it's just one of the lines. Another opportunity was d5, e5, knight e5, d4, c takes, d6, bishop c4, bishop e7, castles, knight c3. I'd like to stop here, and I'd like to discuss this position after like knight takes c3, b takes c3, 10th move by white. This is a very typical pawn structure for the elephant defense. Black just wants to take on e5. Of course, in those positions, white usually take by pawn, unless in this situation, of course, black has a possibility of exchanging the queen, so probably he would take by queen, free his space for the queen, going on the queen king side with the queen h5, doing some bishop d3, rook e1, rook e3, and even organizing the attack on the king side. On the other hand, Castellanos didn't want to take on e5, of course, because of that knight e5, and played more flexible 10th move, queen c7, attacking the bishop, putting some pressure against the pawn on c3. That sounds like a good idea. And after e takes d6, bishop d6, he's now somehow hitting that pawn on h2. After like queen d3, which is like very normal variation. And why queen d3? It's way better than queen e2 because sometimes black could come up with some b5 ideas, capturing that pawn on c3. Queen d3, defending the bishop on c4, defending the pawn on c3. He goes with the knight d7. That's the move. That's the move exactly. That's a flexibility of the black's position. Knight should never go to c6, but you should place your knight. You should place your knight on d7, controlling e5, giving your light square bishop opportunity to go with b6 and bishop b7 on that diagonal. And of course, in some moments, but that's not like the main idea, bringing your knight onto the king side with a knight f6. Usually this knight remains on d7, controlling this probably key square on e5, and sometimes you can even use this knight for a defense, going with a rook e8. Why rook e8? Because you want to support some e5 at some point, and eventually opening up the f8 square for your knight and going on f8. This is an ideal setup for black. I like it very much, and I believe that Castellanos already has a good position. In the game was h3, b6, bishop b3, bishop b7, rook e1. Usually Black in such situations places his rooks on two type of squares and in two type of ways. Rook a c8 and rook f to e8. For example, if I was black, I would have gone, I would go for something like this. So rook a c8 and rook f to e8. Okay, this guy is strong, just like Big Maya. So basically, he's just doing my moves. And now rook f to e8. Show me that you're such a strong player like I am, man. And that's a good thing. Anyways, here, I really believe that bishop f4. Yeah, definitely that could be one of the ideas. Why bishop f4? He's simplifying the game. If white captures, he'll bring his queen onto the king side. Will take on f4, will threaten to take on f3 eventually. At the same time, when you play against hanging pawns or isolated pawn, the more you exchange, the worse these hanging pawns are. And basically, that's his approach here with the bishop f4. I do like this one, and I think this is like really already good position for Castellanos. Okay, I believe it's time to check our highest rated player and highest board tonight, Grandmaster Ivan Saric from Croatia. We put all our hopes in this first round that he's going to win this game, because usually in the first round you just have like clashes of the highest rated and lowest rated opponents. So let's check the game. Ivan Saric went for Caracan. He played c6, d3. This is just one of those old traditional variations with d3. Saric went for d5, knight d2, and he went for knight f6. Another like maybe more active opportunity here would be e5 by black, but Saric went for knight f6, calling his opponent for some type of semi-French with e5, knight d7. So basically, after g3, he went for bishop g4. By the way, I have to say something about Saric. I've been following his games and his improvement for all these years. He's definitely one of the best South European players. Lately, he's been playing a lot. His theoretical knowledge and preparation is like really huge. And if you really want to learn the openings, you should follow this guy, because he knows what he's doing. After bishop g4, bishop e2, you know what? This is the main idea this is the main difference between the Caracan and the French. In French, you have a stupid light square bishop on c8 that is locked, and you all the time somehow fighting how to put it back into the game. Here, Saric just played bishop g4. His opponent played bishop e2, and Saric said, okay, man, thank you so much for exchanging my worst French piece. Let's play now a good type of French. He played e6. Knight g on f3, bishop e7, short castles, b3, and of course, very typical move a5, doing minority attack and going for a4, breaking onto the a file. This looks good. He threatens a4. Any a5 move should be threatened by black with the threat of a4 should be either faced by a3 or a4 by white. His opponent played a4. Saric played knight a6. I very much like his opening, the way he develops his pieces here. He's looking for the best square knight b4. He just went there threatening the pawn c2. This guy played c3, and now he took on e4, created a weakness on e4. This is the difference between strong guys and weaker guys. For example, this is like very nice idea. I gotta put this back and once again say how strong was this knight b4 move, because I would just consider, for example, if you play blitz game, what if my opponent plays c3 and then I just have to put my knight back? But not. Saric makes a desperado move, d takes e4, and this intermediary d takes e4 move changes the assessment of position. What a great move. I like it so much. He now controls the d3 square, goes with the queen on d3, and afterwards knight comes to d3 with a really great position knight. After bishop a3, he exchanged there, but now the d file was in his favor. After like knight c5, e5, knight e5, rook c1, h6, solidifying himself, opening up the back rank, and slowly but surely improving his game. I'd say that Saric for sure has slightly better position here. So he's got like open d-file, it's in his favor. He's got well-placed knights, I like them very much. And would definitely have to say that probably this control of the d3 square is key in this position. He probably has to break this game somehow with b5 and creating a passer with a4 eventually. So I do like this one, and let's see what's he gonna go for there. Let's go and let's check the game between Kleinman and Iturrizaga, because that game went now for like, oh, they almost played like since the last time we changed this position, they almost played 20 moves. So let's go after 15th move, where he played e5, and which was like classic theory in that position. Let's go from e5 15th move, and just to briefly show you what happened there. After like bishop e2, threatening the pawn on d6, knight c5, defending pawn on d6 and threatening on e4, rook d1, piling up his heavy pieces against the d6 pawn. Iturrizaga went for positional sacrifice of the pawn, which I like very much, and that's one of the main ideas of this opening. Queen d6, rook d6. His knight controls the half of the board, plays a4, and this is like a very nice positional example how black should treat this position, because he now has like more space, well centralized knight, and even Kleinman has this rook in the middle of his position. But he now played knight e2, which was very nice, and Kleinman didn't want to make a draw. That's very interesting. Kleinman could have repeated the position with the knight c3 and play that, but he doesn't care about his higher rated opponent, and he plays f3. He actually assessed this position as better for him since he's a pawn up. After like f3, rook fc8, rook c3, knight c5. Oh, exactly. Knight c5, b4, a takes, rook a1, king f2. I don't like this move. Could his opponent go with bishop takes c4 and doing some tactics? Wait a sec. b4, a takes, rook a1, king f2, bishop e4. Wait a sec. Bishop e4. Probably b4, but in case of b4, rook d1, rook, no, in case of b4, knight d3, no. I don't see what after b4. b4, knight d3, rook d3, and nothing. What is probably b4, knight d3, rook d3, bishop d3, rook d3, rook c4, but that's just better for white, because after bishop b3, rook takes b4, he's got, but then rook, yeah, that would be like pretty messy type of the game. This is pretty interesting moment of the game, and one should check this position very, very carefully, making sure what to do here with the white pieces. I'm not exactly sure if b4 is working here, but I guess there is nothing else, and there is nothing better than that. So let's just take a look what's gonna happen there, and let's just see what's going. But okay, we just have to. This is an important moment, because he's running out of the time. As the lowest rated guy from our team, he had a chance to repeat the moves. Would be very interesting to see if Iturrizaga would repeat the moves as well. And we're just waiting for his move. We just want to wait and see his move, so please have patience. We're gonna switch to other games, and let's check other games. Let's check other games, because we're gonna come back to this game. Let's go to Ivan Saric once again. Ivan Saric's game. He keeps improving his position. We're moving to the move like we're getting back to the move 21 when he played b5. That's exactly the move I mentioned previously. And after c4, Saric went for knight d3. Then he played knight c3. Look at these fantastic knights. Rook e3, and he now installed his knight forever on c3. This is complete positional domination. I believe that this should be like an easy game. After rook knight e4, rook e4, knight c5. Now d file is in his favor. He plays rook d7, rook a d8, rook b1, even playing g5, getting the space on the queen side, and probably he's gonna play king g7, king g6, eventually coming with this king on f5. Okay, yeah. So probably first h5, g4, or maybe even h5 and then king f5, getting so much space. Saric is much better. He's close to be completely positionally winning. White is tied. Both of his rooks are tied up for the pawn on b3. His knight on f3 has to keep an eye on the pawn on d2. This is great. Let's go to the game of, we have something very nice to see here. Castellanos made a first win for the Montreal Chessbrahs. Let's go with the update of this game. So congratulations, Rainier Castellanos, for the first win in the season 2018 and his first win. All I see here is checkmate. Let's go to the moment where he played bishop f4, 16th move. And after bishop c2, g6, of course, it's a typical way to defend these positions. And after bishop f4, queen f4, he was threatening that knight, knight e5, rook a8, threatening to take on e5 and to win some material, knight d7, rook d7. By the way, I told you during this commentary that the more you exchange, the better position you have. Bishop d5, look at this. He just keeps exchanging pieces. King g7, keep improving his position. Played queen e4, and this guy played c4, and what a bad blunder. But actually, thank you so much, John Ludwig, for supporting Chessbrah. You're a great guy. So let's go to Hambleton and his game. Hambleton and his game. Let's go there. So by the way, I once again have to say Saric is much better, close to be positionally completely winning. We also have to say that Castellanos already won, so we're leading 1-0. Let's go to Hambleton's game. So Hambleton's game, let's get back to the move, like 7th move when he played d4. Uniaski Quesada captured on d4. And after knight takes d4, e takes d4, went for the plan I mentioned. I thought he wouldn't go for that one, knight e7, provoking probably that d5 at some point, but Aman really knows his theory and he knows what he's doing. So he played knight e2, played bishop b2, b5. Of course, this rook b8 and b5 is traditional idea of fighting up this bishop on g2 and making it kind of useless. So after queen to d3, b4, rook ac1, bishop d7, with the idea of bishop b5 by black. So Aman played knight f4, bishop b5 cannot be played here because knight on f5 is hanging, rook e8 and rook e1. I just have to say that this is game with the mutual chances. Objectively speaking, I like black's pressure on the d4 pawn with the knight on f5 and bishop on a7. I also like the black pawn on b4, that where one pawn absolutely locks both of these pawns on the queen side. I'm talking about the a2 and b3 pawns. But Aman also has like a bit more of space on the queen side and more of his pieces. This guy took on e8. Took on e1, and after rook takes e1, Aman's game looks okay. This really looks okay. I mean, from positional point of view, if we're talking about the pawn structure, definitely Aman's pawn structure is not the brightest thing I've seen so far. But on the other hand, I do like his bishop on g2. I do like his knight on f4. I do like his queen. I do like the fact that he's got an e file open. So basically, those are the things that he gets in return for his position. Let's see what's gonna happen there. The guy played c6, controlling the d5, but So what? We'll just we'll just have to go back to the game of Kleinman and Iturrizaga. Kleinman and Iturrizaga. Oh, the things went really, really crazy there. So after King F2, a rook bishop takes E4. Kleinman didn't play B4. Kleinman went for a rook E3. Then when Iturrizaga moved his bishop to B1, he played B4, sorry, captured the pawn on E5 and knight B4. Now he played rook E7. By the way, this is quite an interesting position. After rook E7, he now threatens to take on B7. He also wants to double up his rooks on the D file. I like Kleinman's position. I don't see anything that special about Black's game. I don't see any special threats. If he takes on C4, Kleinman can always take on B7. Objectively speaking, this is pretty good game. Let's just say I'm satisfied. I'd be satisfied with a draw in this game because Iturrizaga is their highest rated player with a lot of experience and. 2670 players, so just like our first board. Kleinman is running out of time, so we just have to see how is he going to deal with this. So after like knight d3, king e3, knight c5, knight c3, bishop f5, g4, bishop e6, and bishop e2. Now he really played like some suspicious moves in this position, and now I was really afraid of this move because his rook on e7 was trapped. He has to go for this sacrificing taking on b7, but okay, he's now lost and rook d8 as far as I see, and he's losing a piece on or maybe even. Okay, let's go. Let's get back to the game of Ivan Saric, because this game, for sure, Iturrizaga is such an experienced player. He won't miss his chance in this game. So let's go to the game of Saric and his opponent. Oh, this is quite an interesting rook endgame, but a rook endgame where h4. He just played g4. And by the way, you have to use the principle of two weaknesses. You all read some basic chess books, and you guys all know that you should fix his weaknesses like this. So play h4, create weakness on h3, create weakness on b3, and afterwards find a way to attack them somehow. Saric is better here, but he really has to find a way to break this position. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. He played king g6. He didn't want to play h4. Probably he wants to find a way to break there on the king side. Even though his position looks like so favorable here, despite all these things, I don't see how is he going to break it. Maybe on, for example, rook d4. Even if he plays c5, this guy will bring his rook back to e4 and just wait there. So I'm not sure what's happening in this position. c5, rook e4, rook to d3. He just has to hold the game. And I really don't see what is he going to do in order to break and to somehow take these pawns. Let's go to Aman's game. We're gonna come back to this game. Oh, I like Aman's position right now. For some reason, I do like White's position here very much. Now Aman's bishops fully working. Now we're not going to replay all these moves because we do not have time. Both of these guys are running out of time. We're just now going to follow like a pretty intense time scramble by both of these guys. I like Aman's game very much. His bishops are doing amazing. He's got a bishop here. He can choose a moment to take on d4 and to play way better opposite color bishops. This is gonna be a win. He should not miss this one. Bishop d5, even bishop takes d4, lining up his rook with bishop d4, rook e6, queen e4, for example, at some point. I actually like this one really, really a lot. This is quite an interesting game. Let's just see what does he have up to his sleeve here. But I like this one. So probably, okay, even queen e4, even queen e4. I was about to say this one. By the way, don't forget, Aman is so experienced in this very, very tough and very difficult time troubles when you're running just out of your time. He's really doing good. If I'm correct, somebody made a draw offer in this game. Somebody made a draw offer, but Aman should keep on playing this position. He's got a bishop here. He's got full control in his hands. You know what? I even see some bishop c4, bishop d3 idea. King g2, okay. Overprotecting. You know what? Even h4, h5, h6, weakening that diagonal, creating some weaknesses in opponent's camp. He can even play f4 here. Yes, exactly. Then he can play h4, h5, h6. I also like this battery and movement of the bishop with the bishop c4, bishop d3 going for checkmate. So let's see what he's gonna do there. I see like a lot of really good things. Yeah, I really do like this variation. First of all, I like the fact that he controls the e-file. I like the fact that he rejected an offer draw, which means he's pretty much aware of the fact that he's way better. And yes, good. Now bishop d3. Play bishop d3. No, bishop c4, queen a8. Queen a8. This guy's gonna offer him queen exchange. Queen exchange. Queen a8. I see nothing better for black in this position. Oh, queen c8. Let's go with the bishop d3. In case of bishop d3, maybe a queen c6. So now he should find a better place for his king. Maybe some h4, king h2, but then queen c6, knight f3, bishop d3, queen c6. Yes, it's forced, or queen a8, okay. Aman is still much better. Bishop c4. What if queen takes a2? I don't get it. Probably I missed something, okay. Bishop d5, he cannot touch the pawn. Okay, this is good. This is now good. Rook should go to e7. Push these pawns on the king side. Perfect. Play that f5, h4. Just push these pawns, exactly. Bishop pair, 3 against 2 on the king side. E-file, all the things are in his hands and all these things are in his favor. Perfect. Creating passers. This is good. Don't forget, they just have two seconds increment. Exactly. Push them, baby. Exactly. King h4, king h5. We want to win this pawns. King h4. Exactly. He wants to win the pawn on h5. This is good. Take the pawn. Oh my goodness. This hurts. This hurts. Let's get back to the game of Saric. Aman, congratulations. This is a big new GM, Hambleton. Big Hambo. He made a great win against Quesada. Let's get back to Saric and his game. He's pushing his opponent very hard. Yes. We like that smile on his face. We like this feeling. Saric is completely winning. Saric is completely winning. All in all, I regret the choice of Kleinman to reject the draw offer. If he had made a draw in that position, now we would have been 3.5 to half. Perfect first round. Don't forget, Hambo made a great win against Quesada, and this is already looking great. Rook b2, of course, king f3. This is completely winning Saric. Now rook b1, actually, rook b1. Perfect. Saric from Croatia winning his game as well, and there we go. 3-1 after the first round. Great job. And we had some, but I really like that Hambo's sacrifice rook takes d4 in the end of the game. That really looked good. So you can just see like smile on their faces. You can just see a satisfaction after pretty. This was supposed to be a tough round, but let's be completely honest and to say looked way better than that. Looked way better than that, and way easier than the way it was supposed to be. Okay, once again, I just have to tell you the results. Kleinman lost to Iturrizaga. Hambleton beat Quesada. That's a really big win. And you just have two more guys. Saric beat their lowest rated player, Corey Acor, and Kleinman. Kleinman just lost to Iturrizaga. Unfortunately, Castellanos made a great win with a Queen G2 in just 20 moves. Who was hoping that this guy would blunder checkmate? But let's be honest, already Castellanos took the destiny in his hands. He was in the driver's seat when he played Queen E4 because he was just exchanging pieces, playing against hanging pawns, and he was already better. All in all, after the first round, we have 3-1. By the way, I just have to remind you something. We're gonna have in total 16 games. This is amazing. So, who first? So once the team scores 8.5 points, wins the match. So basically, we're just waiting for 5.5 points more. We don't care. We want 5.5 points more, and that's the point. So first round was perfect. Kleinman had even at some point he had a great game, but he just blundered there at something. Yeah, Iturrizaga is very tricky. He's good at calculation, and I remember I also had a great position against that guy. Was much better, but somehow he tricked me and defeated me badly. So nothing. We just have to put all our hopes in Hambo, who started great. Saric, who of course won his first game, and that was pretty much expected. Castellanos made a nice win. So this really went more than good. 3-1 after the first round against Miami champions. They also have one more strong GM, Becerra Rivera, from another GM, I believe, from Venezuela. So these guys are really top GMs, and doing in the first round and leading 3-1 is already a big accomplishment. So we're now just waiting for the next round. I'll let you know as soon as the game begins. Now we can just go back to that game of Hambleton just to show you the final position when he played the rook takes d4. Look at that position. I would really like to go back to the move 34 when Hambo played 35th move when he played h5. So look at that. He played h5, and I really like this way of exploiting his pawn structure and pawn majority on the king side. So he played h4, h5, g takes h5, and he now creates a hanging pawns with g5. That was a really great idea. Now bishop d8, and Hambo said, if I missed first time rook to d4, that's not gonna happen second time. So Hambo had rook takes d4 immediately to win the game here. But then after king h3, bishop b6, king h4, when this Quesada played bishop d8, Hambo took on d4 and won the game. I just wanna tell you one thing. At some point, Uniaski Quesada offered him a draw. That's usually something that higher rated players do against lower rated guys, hoping that their rating can compensate their bad position, and simply a fear of a opponent's rating, could bring them a lucky draw. But of course, just what I told you previously, Aman is very hot lately, and not in terms of he's looking actually okay like that as well, but speaking of his chess, and he really made a great practical decision with the bishop pair, with control of the e-file, with the pawn majority on the king side. I believe he had all conditions fulfilled to play that position and a win, and he eventually won the game. Okay, we're still expecting the games to begin, so I don't wanna talk anymore. Actually, I can't stop, so please give me a break for a moment. And finally, the glass of whiskey is here, so good luck. I wish I had some music here, but okay. We're not going to play the music because the games are about to begin, so that's the way it goes. So let's go there. Yes, exactly. Jim Beam on the table. Good games as well. So you can just imagine this commentary job I really enjoy. And of course, watching great players is always very entertaining. You can learn a lot. And of course, listening the best commentator and learning from him is also another thing. Let's get started with the games. Castellanos against Corey Acor. So Castellanos is white. He went for d4. So we're now looking at a game of Castellanos and Corey Acor, and he went for d4. So d4, we're just expecting his opponent to answer the first move because, okay, his opponent is not there. Let's go to the game of Aman Hambleton because we don't want to wait for that. Iturrizaga against Aman. Iturrizaga went for a ready opening. He played the first move, knight f3. Hambo played d5. And now c4. Okay, there are like plenty of possibilities. If you like Slav defense, you'll play c6. If you like Queen's Gambit Orthodox, I like g5 here. I like g5 here. So d4, b4. d4, b4, I like g5 here. Will Hambo play g5 in this position? Hambo, go for g5. Show that you have guts and you're gonna go for something really interesting there. By the way, I remember when Morozevich played this g5 for the first time. It's the pawn sack. Oh, he went for a5. Okay, he went for a completely different. Line. I just went for that Morozevich interesting idea. I mean, you have knight c6, you have e5, you have f6 followed by e5, you have so many other ideas. But I like that g5 sacking the pawn, and if the knight takes, you play e5, and you have like full domination of the pawns in the center. Okay, he went for a5, and now he probably should play b6 or c5. This is normal. I would play first c5, and if g3 b no, that doesn't work. So b6, g3, bishop b7. He needs to oppose the bishop. He needs to oppose the bishop on g2. c5. What if g3 here? What if g3? Because okay, this guy goes for something completely different. Okay, now this is like typical Benoni structure reversed with a tempi up for white. So okay, so e3, and Aman is going to wait for that. He probably should be going with some. I don't know. He should not take for sure. He can play knight f6. He can play bishop g4. He can play g6. For example, if I had black, I would probably go with g6 followed by bishop g7. Because not only to support that pawn on d4 with my bishop, but also to play e5, fully supporting these pawns and fully getting like a great position for my game. Afterwards, I'll put my knight on e7, make short castle, and get a great game. Let's see what is he gonna go for. But I'd go definitely with g6 here. So this is like Benoni reversed with a tempi up for white. Black, in my opinion, has a pretty fine game after g6. But let's see what he's gonna go for and what is his option. I believe after g6, e takes d4, c takes d4, bishop b2, bishop g7, d3. And then white should be going with knight d2, knight b3. But of course, a man can always stop that and kick that away with a4. That's why the pawn on a5 could be good there. Okay, he's taking his time. This is one of those moments, one of those important moments in the games where you're just waiting for your move because depending on that move depends what is going to be your plan and what is going to look like till the rest of the game. Okay, yes, he opted for g6, e takes, and bishop g7. Okay, normal. He now should take by the pawn, play e5, and develop his knight on e7. I like this one. I actually watched how Wishy Anand played one game like this. in the past and how he crushed somebody really top. This is a good game. Iturrizaga is their highest rated player. On the other hand, Hambleton is in great shape. So I like this one very much. Once again, Iturrizaga probably should play d3 or bishop b2. But this is quite interesting because in some situations he even threatens to take on d4 by bishop. For example, if you play d3, bishop takes d4 and he's lost. Look at this. d3, bishop d4. Okay, he goes with traditional knight a3, knight c2 idea, going against the d4 pawn. That's the thing. So c takes d4 definitely. C takes d4 definitely. And after c takes d4, d3, he definitely has to support that pawn with e5. I like it a lot. So e5, knight e7, castles. That's a great position for black. I like this one a lot. He can also go afterwards with b6, bishop b7. That also looks great. So let's wait. Let's be patient. Let's go to another game. So let's take a look at the game of Ivan Saric. Let's take a look at the game of Ivan Saric. And Saric is white against John Ludwig, and they just played e4, c5, knight f3, d6, and Saric didn't want to go with any special theory in that position, but he opted for g3. That's quite an interesting move to go with g3. So after he goes with g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, castles, and after like knight c6, he now has like a pretty nice game after knight c6. Okay, just a moment. We might experiencing some troubles for a moment. You're gonna get the boards in a moment as soon as we upload these positions and boards. Now you have a chance to see this beautiful face. So look at this, and that's the way it goes. Once again, we just had a chance to see the first round. This is the first round of the Pro League season. Montreal Chessbrahs against Miami champions, 3-1. First round. We're now watching the game between Ivan Saric and John Ludwig. So at the moment, this is 12th move. Saric played c4, and pretty interesting to see what is happening there. So we're now just following that position. So let's just keep watching this game. He's the highest rated guy in our team, and we just have to follow that with a great interest. Okay, so after c4, he probably on f6 should go with that bishop on d2. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea simply because he wants to take the knight on a5 and break the pawn structure. Of course, John Ludwig went with knight b7, and he goes with knight c3. Pretty tough position for following, but let's analyze this position a little bit. He's got an upper hand on the queen side to do some a4 and a5 at proper moment. Then he also has a possibility to play, for example, some knight h4, and to do some kingside action with f4 eventually. So he's going to choose the moment when to break on the kingside as well. Then another thing in this position could be simply placing his knight on d5 and supporting this idea of f5. I like this a4 and a5. I'm not exactly sure what Ludwig is doing right now. Ludwig is doing right now, because he just gave up a file just like that. Oh, okay. On the other hand, Saric cannot at least now benefit too much from that a file, but considering the fact that he can choose a moment when to take on b6 and to play that game, is good enough to say that his position is already great. Also, you just have to keep in mind that at some point he has to play. That is usually a good advice. Play on both sides of the board. Don't play only on one side. So he will keep the opportunity of taking on b6, but at the same time, he's gonna be able to go for the action on the king side as well. Rook a2, nice move. He wants to support queen a1, but at the same time, he maybe also wants to play some f4 and plays that rook on f2 or somehow g2 and even go into the king side action at some point. Okay, I believe it's time to check somebody else's game. I think it's time to check the game of Aman Hambleton, and then we'll go back to Kleinman and Renia Castellanos and their games. So let's go to the game of Hambo. It's quite an interesting position. He went there for knight h6, trying to play knight f5, capturing on d4. So let's go back to the 7th move when Hambo played knight h6, rook b1, Aman captured by pawn on d4, d3, knight d7, looking for great c5 outpost for the knight, bishop e2, castles, and that position looks pretty good for black. I like it. His bishop on g7 fully supports the d4 pawn. He can choose a moment when to do e5. Definitely he needs to do some e5. Why e5? Because he needs to break in the center. Oh, knight d4. Oh, knight d4. Came out of blue. I completely forgot about this trick. That's why I kept mentioning this e5, that it had to be done earlier. Knight takes d4. Let's see his facial expression after knight takes d4, and judging by his facial expression to see if he expected this knight d4 at all or not. He plays knight c5. Looks like he doesn't care too much about the pawn. Now he probably should go with knight a4. Looking for knight c3. Because I like, definitely he should not exchange any of these pieces. Yes, knight a4, looking for knight c3. By the way, the prizes this year are really high. $56,000. You have prizes, poll prizes for this year. That's really amazing for internet chess, and this is really good. So, okay, if Iturrizaga had to play bishop takes h6, I definitely think that Aman now has a great compensation. He's now looking, should he play knight c3, take on b1, and no, he took on. I fully support his position now, because he's got these bishops. He's down a pawn. Okay, his knight is on the rim of the board, but okay, that's the price he had to pay for getting the pawn there. Let's go to the game of Kleinman. We'll see some real happenings in this game a little bit later. Quesada against Kleinman. First of all, we gotta check the opening, because we haven't checked this game at all. So e4, c6, Kleinman went for the Caracan, and after d4, d5, e5 went for bishop f5, the main line of the Caracan advanced. Knight f3, e6, bishop e2, knight e7, c3, h6, knight bd2, knight d7, short castle, and Kleinman went for a5. I remember when I played this variation for black, there are like plenty of plans for black. First of all, you have a plan with g5, bishop g7, knight g6, short castle, and eventually breaking on the king side. The g5 was played by some guys from the Philippines, and black was doing good. Then you have plan, Iwanchuk's favorite plan, and I like that plan probably the most. It's the plan with dropping your knight back to c8, and afterwards playing bishop e7, short castle, your knight from c8 goes to, after a6, knight a7 to b5, and eventually you just want to break with c5 and moving your knight eventually to c6 or b5, depending on circumstances during the game. That really looks like a good idea, but he went for a5. It's more or less typical in these positions. And after he did a5, rook e1, he played a4. To me, this looks pretty new. I've never seen this idea of pushing this pawn up to a4, but okay, I mean, it's a reasonable idea. Now he brings his bishop back to g6. That's weird, because you play h6 to get a shelter on h7 for this bishop. So if you want to place this bishop somewhere, you should put it back on h7. But okay, he probably has something else in his mind. Knight h4, and now he played bishop h7, and now he gave his opponent f4. Exactly. I don't like it. I don't like it because but maybe he wanted to provoke this. Maybe he wanted to provoke this to take like a better control of the light squares. But on the other hand, he also gives like more space to his opponent. So after c5, knight c6, bishop e3, he goes with queen b6, threatening the pawn b2. Queen d2, bishop e4. Rook e d1, bishop e7, knight g3. I once again have to say that I like his position. I like Kleinman's position, even though he went for a pretty weird bishop g6, then bishop h7, probably provoking that f4. Now he captured the knight on f3. He probably should go with now g6 and h5. He probably should go with g6 and h5 after he took on f3, because he wants, you know, the old good rule that's called Capablanca's rule. Put the pawns on the same color of the opponent's bishop. Why? Because this way you're just going to restrict this bishop in a better way. He's doing that in the middle games. You should do that. In the end games, you should not do it at all. Why? Because in end games, you don't want to have your pawns to be under the attack, but in the middle games, you just want to have these pawns on the same color of the opponent's bishop. Why? Because this way you're just limiting bishop and get more space for yourself. I like g6. I like h5 next. I like his position, and even though he had some weird Kleinman's variation, it really looks promising. As also this knight on g3 is in the middle of nowhere. Look at this knight. It's gonna be like never-ending story for this knight, and he plays bishop f2. I believe now he should not take so much time for the next move. He has to play f5. What else? Why did you play g6 if you don't want to play h5? Let's see. By the way, maybe on some h5, white could go with some f5. But even if he goes for f5, g takes f5, he takes on h5. I don't care too much. I mean, the g file is open. Maybe I can have some counter chances. He first takes on d4. Okay, isolates the pawn d4, weakens there, and gets a good game. Okay, let's switch the game. Let's switch the game, and let's go to the game of Rainier Castellanos, because we gotta put all our hopes into this game, because Castellanos is white against their lowest rated guy, and this is like a great, really great chance for our team in this round. So after d4, knight f6, knight f3, d6, c4, g6, it was g3. It was fianchetto King's Indian variation, and Castellanos went for knight c3. His opponent went for knight bd7 and e5 main line in the King's Indian. So what should we do after e5? There are like so many moves after e5 by black in that position. First of all, you gotta understand that after e5 you can play e4, playing in the center and getting some space. That's what he did in the game. You can play b3 and play like Aronian, more flexible. You can play some other stuff. Let's see, he played e4, and after e4, let's just go throughout these moves. Corey Acor went for b6, rook to e1, bishop to b7, and after h3, this h3 is always very useful move because you would like to develop your bishop on e3 and to pave up the way for the bishop and to stop any knight g4 by black. So after e takes d4, knight takes d4, rook e8, f3. This is typical position, and after knight e5, b3, I like this game for white. I like this game for white. Now let's go to the final position. Let's briefly go throughout all these moves, and let's see what's the final position. Castellanos now gave to his opponent to move his knights into the center of the board up to d3, but it's nothing for black, so nothing to be afraid about. So now let's just moving a little bit faster to the final position, and I really like the way he plays. I really like the way he maneuvers with his pieces. He constantly keeps improving his pieces. Look at this, f4, rook e8, rook e1, everything looks good. Knight came to d5, he played before taking some space, captured by knight on d5, complete domination by Castellanos in this game. I like his position, I like his game. This really looks good for white. This really looks good for white. Space advantage on his side, control of the center. I mean, let's be absolutely objective here. Black doesn't have many weaknesses in this game, objectively speaking, not at the moment. But he probably should play bishop f3 or bishop g2, and probably should somehow strive to break here onto the queen side with some c5. This could be great for black. This could be great for black. Yeah, this really looks good. Really looks good for white. So Castellanos is much better. Let's go to the Saric game. Let's go to the Saric game. We're not going to play any more moves because we don't have time for that. Now we're just running into severe time troubles for both sides. And Saric's game, it's pretty interesting. He has slight control of the center. He has some pressure on the e5 pawn. Probably he should tend to play some knight g5 and f4 somehow. Also, we also have to say that he controls the a file. So he did it. He did the knight g5 that I mentioned. He probably should follow that up with f4, breaking and weakening the pawn on e5. He probably can always oppose this queen on a8 if he wants with rook e1, but that's not his plan. Actually, with the queen on b2 and that battery, queen b2, bishop c3, and the rook on e1, he wants to play f4. So you know what, I would, after f4 I would seriously think about some even g4 ideas, but at the moment f4 looks to me like the most tempting. But on f4, e takes f4, and after, we cannot take on g7 because rook takes e1. So we just have to play like f4, e takes f4, rook e8, knight e8, bishop g7, knight g7. But look at this one, f4, e takes f4, rook e8, knight e8, knight e6. And I'm forcing my opponent to take on c3, I take queen c3, but he doesn't have anything. So f4 doesn't work. or even if it works, it's nothing that special for white. So he probably should be looking for something better there. Maybe something else. Maybe something else. Because f4, it takes f4, rook e8, knight e8, I don't see. Okay, so let's go to the Hambleton's game. He's running out of time. And Hambo is doing great. Hambo, oh my goodness, look at this position. He's down a piece, but I like his position. I like his pawn on d3. I like his queen on d4. And what I like more than anything in this position is this idiot king on d1. So let's take a look at this game. He's got like 6 pawns. This guy also has like 6 pawns. So he's clearly down a piece. He's clearly down a piece. We do not have much time because things are moving fast here. So I don't want to make these moves. Hambo is threatening some rook e2 here, believe it or not. Queen f2, rook e2, rook e8 to line up these heavy pieces onto the d file. This is great. This is great. He can also even support this pressure on the diagonal h6, c1 with bishop h6. This is good. Somebody said that Aman's game is always in troubles. Don't worry about that. He's one of the best and fastest guys I know. So you should never afraid about his times. Okay, it can affect your games because you can just play like less quality moves, but I don't think it could be applicable on his example. So rook goes to b3. Should he play queen f2? Should he play rook a d8? I like rook a d8 with the idea of rook e2. Rook a d8 with the idea of rook e2. So afterwards, I would have like, somebody said rook e2 immediately. Rook a d8 first, and then rook e2. I want to play rook e2 on time. I don't want to rush. I don't want to really, somebody said rook e1 for 1, but if rook e1, then queen f2. I'm threatening on e1 checkmate. If you take on e8, rook takes e8, I'm threatening almost undefendable rook e1 checkmate. So rook e2 is coming, queen f2 at some point. If rook e1, queen f2, this is great. Somebody asked, what is the point of rook to b3? I don't get it either. I don't get it either. I don't see how is Iturezaga going to defend this rook e2 idea. Queen takes, queen a5. He defends this. He defends this. He defends the knight on d2. It's Aman's turn. Certainly Aman should be much better in this position. That one for sure. That one for sure. If not like being completely winning, but you know what? He's only 12 seconds down on the clock, so he has to keep moving fast and to keep moving strong down a piece. It's very difficult, but let's see. Rook e8. Rook e8. I kind of like it. You know why? Because if his opponent plays queen b4, he'll play bishop f8, and he can always get a piece back in the worst case scenario. So I like this one. Yeah, he can now play bishop f8. Exactly, perfect. So he can, just like I said, the worst case scenario, and that's what we usually tend to go for in severe time troubles. He should trade off queens, take the knight, and get a very solid type of. Oh, I don't like this bishop b7. I didn't see this one. Rook a4. Severe time trouble. Rook b8. He should speed up a little bit. He should speed up. He should speed up a little bit. Probably he missed his chance to win this game. That's exactly the drawback of not having enough time in chess. I mean, usually when you always go to severe time troubles, that's what's happening to you. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. After like bishop b4, I still see some compensation for him because white's king on d1 is weak. His bishop pair is pretty strong, so I don't want to move to another game. I'd like to keep watching this one. I believe it's like very, very important. So don't forget, this is the second round. Pro League. Pro League 2018 second season. By the way, my name is Miodrag Perunovic. I'm international master from Serbia. Somebody calls me Dead Bra, and basically we're now analyzing and watching Chessbrahs Montreal team for you guys. Hope that you're enjoying this commentary, these games, and after the first round we're just leading 3-1. So let's see. Bishop b4 threatening rook takes a2. If his opponent spends so much time on these moves, we just have to see what is he taking. For here, he threatens to take on d2, then he threatens to take on a2, he threatens to take on c4. This really looks good. I mean, looks good. He was completely winning, but okay, this is a pretty nice position. So in one move, he can take both of these pawns. So the guy played a3, he captured a3. I like it. He's getting some material back, and I can see a lot of tactics in the air here. But watch out, Iturrizaga is extremely tricky. He's got a great energy, and he's got a great stamina. I know the guy, I know the way he looks like. He's also practicing a lot, and that actually helps you in chess to have like proper calculating skills. So let's see. This is gonna be a great game. I don't want to move to another game. Sorry for that, but I just want to see what's going on. So Hambleton is down on 5 seconds. Iturrizaga on 31. It's Hambo's turn. Plays bishop c5. He keeps improving his position every move. Bishop d5. Oh, bishop d7, bishop takes f7. I believe he blundered badly here. Oh, 94. This guy didn't see the bishop f7 with check. Now, even if bishop f7 happens, king f7, rook d7, he would have rook c4 check. So this is good. But believe me that Hambleton never misses a move like this. But we stated it so many times tonight. Don't go into severe time troubles, because the quality of your games can drop unbelievably a lot. He plays f5. I like it. Oh, I don't like this move. He could have gone for, but okay, b7. Aman's turn, bishop c5. Bishop probably, I don't know. What is white gonna do here? He played f4. King e7, probably, exactly. Rook e1, king f6. White has to move that bishop and to jump on d5. Bishop d7, go back to the same position, controlling e6. Play bishop b4, probably, exactly. Go with rook a3, exactly. This is difficult. Bishop b4 again, do the same thing. Now I'm just waiting and looking. Rook a2 check for sure. He didn't want to go for that. We're now looking very intense position. Rook a2, bishop a4 now. Bishop a4 has to come. I don't like this, that he managed to play knight c6. He keeps improving on his position, taking there, and Iturrizaga is now, he looks winning. Sorry, we actually opted for this game. We don't have time to watch and follow all this game at the same time, and this is now lost. Let's go to the game of Ivan Saric. So Saric is white. He's taking the pawn. He's up a pawn. King goes towards the center. This should be winning. You know what? When the pawns are on both sides of the board and the game is open, bishop is always better than knight. So king came to the center. Saric should, oh, he cannot play king f5 because of knight e3 fork. So bishop to d3 or bishop to g6. That's the maximum limitation of the bishop. So king c6 now, and now knight has to move to c4. He probably has to find a way to limit this knight, and that should be an easy win. The guy threatens bishop knight e7. So if knight e7, king c5, and then it's a draw. Knight takes d5. Then it should be a draw. King c5, knight takes d5. Knight takes d5. Oh, the guy probably. Oh, look at this. He didn't play the knight takes d5 because it was the opposite color bishops. Now he's winning. No, he's not winning. Yeah, oh, now he's drawn. Now it's drawn. Now he can't win this. Anyhow, now it's drawn. Actually, he has to find a way to make a draw in this position. He complicated this position unbelievably a lot, and it's dead drawn. This is going to be a draw. He was winning. He was winning. Unfortunately, he made a draw. Let's go to the Kleinman's game. That was draw by agreement. And let's go to the game of Rainier Castellanos. Castellano lost this game. So we focused and paid like the biggest attention in this round on the Hambleton's game. This round didn't go well for our team. Castellanos lost, Aman Hambleton lost, and Saric didn't win a winning game. Kleinman made a good draw. So let's briefly check the game of Castellanos here, because we didn't follow that game at all. So let's just take a look at this game for a moment. After like rook e1 31st move, where we stopped there, 31st move, rook e1, queen d7, bishop f2, king h8, bishop g2, rook takes e1, queen takes e1. Castellanos had everything in this position. He had everything in control. He had position, control of the e-file, better space, everything. So king g8, queen d2. Why did he play queen d2? Wasn't it better to play something like some queen e4, something, maybe a3 to solidify the pawn structure? There is enough time to improve here with c5. He played queen d2, knight d8, and after c5, okay, b takes, king f7, queen a5. Oh my goodness, he was much better. So this round was unbelievably bad for our players, because Hambleton was winning, Saric was winning, Castellanos was much better. Crazy, and we lost 3-1, and everything what we did really great in the first round got nullified with the second round. Okay, the real things are coming. The real things are coming, because Hemba will play Hemba will play 2 games against lower rated guys. So we put our stakes on him in those 2 games. Then our highest board, Saric, is going to face now 2 strong guys, Quesada and Itorizaga, which means that he's got a good chance to simply once again oppose like the best players in their team. I believe we're still favorites. We are favorites in the 3rd and the 4th round, but it's not gonna be easy. Which means it's time for some Jim Beam, and it's time for some bourbon here, and it's time for some relaxation. Okay, it's a really big pity that whole team missed chances in this round, but that's chess, and that's the team competition. For example, many times in this tournament, we had a situation when our teammates had simply great position And what happened? For example, everybody's winning, and then the very next moment you hear like all these 4 boards lost their games. Doesn't matter. Let's go. 3rd round. We're just waiting for the games to start, and I believe it's time for me to sip in some more of this favorite drink of mine. So just give me a sec. I haven't stopped talking for more than hour and a half. The games have just started. We're looking at one of the toughest games tonight. John Ludwig against Michael Kleinman. Their ratings are so close to one to another. They just went for this Caracan advanced variation, and Ludwig went for the 92 line. Kleinman should go with e6 and play the typical variation. Let's immediately switch to the game of Corey Acor against Hambleton. Hambleton opted for French. So after e4, e6, Corey played d3, which is like a weird... I mean, okay, it's the King's Indian attack, reversed white pieces. It's normal, but it's not that popular anymore. And after g3, here, Hambleton didn't want to go with Moldavian system with bishop d6, 97, 96, which is considered to be the best practical option for black. But he played knight c6, bishop g2, knight f6, and after knight f3 went for g6. Interesting, to be honest. Even though I follow theory so much, I haven't seen this plan too many times, but I know about it. It's nice because in this system, the main idea for white is e5. Here, since we played g6 and bishop g7, e5 is not going to be possible because we just bring our knight back to d7 and attack the attack the e5 pawn. So c3. What is Corey trying to do? He wants to play e5, follow up with the d4. Doesn't matter. Let's now go to the game of Saric because it's one of the toughest games today. Saric is white against Uniaski Quesada, and he opted for e4. Unfortunately, Saric didn't manage to win the first game, the second game, even though he was like much better. So after e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, and Saric went for this h3 interesting move. It's a Nishgiri move that for the first time he launched in the London Classic 2017 last year, and at that time Giri used it against somebody. I even believe Svidler played it against somebody, and White even had some good results with this h3. I don't have time to explain you all the ideas behind this h3 and why should they go for this. So h3, bishop e4, Saric went for bishop d3, and after d6 he goes for castles. This reminds me very much on the Rai Lopez reversed with the white pieces with a tempi up. So after a6 he went for knight e5, bishop c5, c3, and now bishop e7. He's hiding his bishop back to c2 and wants to break in the center with d4. This looks good for white. I very much like Saric's opening here. He just wants to play d4 next. And this is good. This is good. Bishop c2 followed by d4. He wants to play a type of Rai Lopez. He wants to play rook e1 afterwards, followed by bishop g5. White is slightly better. I like how this opening went for white. I also like his development. I also like his opening choice, h3, quite a surprising line and not that common nowadays in chess circles. But just like I told you, back to 2017 and London Classic Rapid Tournament, it was very popular by some top and highest rated world guys. Okay, let's go to the game of Castellanos and Iturrizaga. I actually think there is one great thing about this game, that Castellanos is white. Castellanos showed some really good shape, and that he actually plays strong chess, but unfortunately he lost the previous game. So this game went d4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, and he went for c4, b6, g3. So he played the Queen's Indian defense, and actually his opponent went for the Queen's Indian defense. He played bishop g2, c5, and of course he played d5 move. E takes d5, and he played knight g5. Quite an interesting line. I prefer knight h4. I just recently analyzed the game played by Garry Kasparov in this variation, where Kasparov played knight h4, pinning that bishop on d5, on b7 with knight h4, and then followed up with knight c3 and bishop g5. Okay, this is like completely different idea. And different plan. He just wants to go with knight c3, wanna go with knight h3, knight f4, pressure that pawn on d5, and attack this position. By the way, this round can decide really a lot here. After such a great thing, after such a great first round, then in the second round, Montreal Chessbrahs got knockouted. But let's see. I mean, there are like 2 more rounds to go, and I still believe that we're slight favorites because we're definitely more solid on all these boards, because they have like 2600 GMs, but we have like 3 GMs here. And okay, Castellanos is an IM, but he's almost a GM strength, and also Kleinman is very competitive as well. So let's see what's going to happen till the end of this match. But knight g5 is quite an interesting. Let's go back to the game of Kleinman. Kleinman played knight h4. We have to see what's happening there. Kleinman went for the pawn on h4, and after g3, it's his turn here. He went back with this knight to f5. He wants to play position being up a pawn. I like this one. This is a well-known principle. Grab the pawn and try to win your game. So catch me if you can afterwards. So this is good. He took on f5. Okay, definitely after knight takes g6, f takes g6 looks a little bit ugly pawn structure. But pawn is a pawn, so his opponent, especially being white, he has to prove that he's got a compensation. I'll be honest with you, I don't see such a big compensation for Ludwig in this game. This is very important game. Because Kleinman was unlucky in the first game. He had a great position against Iturrizaga. He had pretty good game at some point. Even a bit better, and eventually he lost that game. He even had maybe that moved repetition. F takes g6 position is unclear. Let's move to the game of Hambleton, who's playing against Corey Acor. So Hambleton went for this g6 and bishop g7. And after c3, played short castle, rook e1, b6, queen a4, and queen c7. I've been playing all these King's Indian attack type of positions, French positions, with both white and black for all these years. Really like this flexible approach by Hambo. He's a good French player. He knows what he's doing, and this really looks fine. He can play a5 followed by bishop a6. Definitely white should never play e5 because of knight d7. He can also play bishop to b7. Can go with bishop d7. He can even support the pawn on d5 and play some knight g4, knight e5 afterwards, opening his bad bishop and controlling e5. So this is interesting. This is interesting. I mean, there are plenty of possibilities because this game gives you really a lot, because position is pretty flexible, and that's actually what makes this position being so fine for black. Let's change and switch to the game of Saric and Quesada. So after knight d5, Quesada bishop c5, c3, bishop a7, bishop c2, castles. Saric went with d4. That's where I stated that his position was a bit better, that I liked the way his opening and how his opening worked there. And after d takes, knight takes, knight takes, d takes, he played queen to f3. Did he have to play that queen to f3? That's a question. I mean, knight e5, d takes e5. Probably I'd go with some bishop b3 to get like a good control of that outpost, and if knight takes e4, maybe even some crazy queen h5, launching the attack on the king side. I'm just throwing some ideas there, maybe with bishop h6 for kd1, who knows, maybe with some action. But he went for queen f3, and after knight d5 he takes d5, f5. I don't want to say like black's game, because I want to be I'm a little bit I'm not that objective here, and I don't want to be fully objective, because we're just cheering up for the Chessbrah teammates and for white in this position. But I like black. Not that I like black, but I mean black doesn't seem to have any serious problems here. So I didn't like that queen f3 move fully. Bishop d6, bishop c5. Bishop c5 is a good move. I like repositioning this bishop from c5 to d6, and eventually coming with e4, and probably once again adding all these pieces onto the king side all together with queen h4, and maybe even launching some attack against the white's king. I believe that white pieces now are not that happily placed, and I believe that everything was caused with the queen f3 in the 13th move. Let's move and let's switch to another game. So we're now analyzing the game between Castellanos and Iturrizaga. So after knight g5, that's where we stopped. Iturrizaga played b5. I remember that game when I analyzed game between Kamsky and Michael Adams. Adams went with some b5 idea. So after knight c3, knight c6, knight d5, I believe it exactly went like this. Castellanos has very nice positions. He has very nice games. And I can see tactics here. What if, wait a sec, I can see tactics. What if knight f7, king f7, knight f6, queen f6, c takes b5, knight a5, takes on b7, queen d5 check, and take the knight on b7? What am I missing? That's a question. That's the question. So what am I missing? Knight f7, king f7, knight f6, king queen f6, c takes b5. He went for this. Probably I was missing something there. I really like the knight f7 idea. His position is okay now also. Probably I missed something there. Because, I was just thrown to that position and had to think fast. That was like bullet explanation. Probably I missed something. It would be interesting to analyze that game afterwards. So Queen e6. Queen e6. Should he take on b5? That's a real question. That's a real question. Should he take on b5? And what happens there if knight d4 now by black, pinning that knight? Knight d4, pinning the knight. He played knight d8. Yeah, knight d4, he would just come up with some discovered check and take on b7. This looks okay. I mean, he has to play f3. What I've noticed about Iturrizaga, he's very strong in the games. He's very strong in his middle games, but his openings are not good. Actually, he had like very big problems out of his openings tonight. For example, this one he was worse. Previous one he wasn't that bright as well. Against Kleinman, he didn't have like anything that special with the black pieces. But okay, he's like the highest rated guy in their team. So I'm not impressed with his openings, even though he's almost 2700 guy. So let's go. Let's go knight f2. Castellanos is slightly better. He's up a pawn and position is pretty complicated. Let's now go to the game of Kleinman. Let's go to the game of Kleinman. Position is crazy. Kleinman at first glance is completely winning. Am I missing something? Let's just check there. This is final position. Kleinman's bishop on c5 looks strong. Knight on f3 looks dominating. King on e1 broken. This looks terrible for white. Will Kleinman be able to convert this? We'll see. Okay, he now wants to take on e5. No, f4 would be possible because of queen takes g4. So I kind of like this one very much. Kleinman should be winning. This is great. This is great. But you know what? We should not be any, any excited, especially because previous round everybody was winning and everybody lost their games. So Kleinman, okay, Kleinman, yeah, okay, king d1. This guy tries to save something in this almost dead lost position. Knight takes c5. Kleinman, I don't see why shouldn't he take there. Am I missing something? Knight takes c5, queen e2. He can even go with knight g4. And after queen e6, king h8, completely winning. This is dead winning. This is dead winning, and I like this one. I like this one. This should be win. This should be an easy win for Kleinman. Let's switch, because in previous round we just he went for queen g4. I even like that more. I even like that more. Yeah, that's good. He's winning some material. Bishop e2. He can even queen f5. I like it. Queen e4. I thought about that one as well. And forcing the queen trades and opening the d file in that scenario. Kleinman's game is winning. Let's go to Hambleton. Let's go to Hambleton. This guy, for his rating 2284, in my opinion, plays above his strength. Plays above his strength. He was holding Saric for more than 60-70 moves previously. But okay, he was worse against Castellanos, objectively speaking, but he managed to win there. And now he's playing against Aman, and he's just played bishop c7. He's just played bishop c7. Is Aman lost after bishop c7? Holy sorry for that, but is he just lost against this one? I don't see b5, queen takes b5. I don't see what is he going to do. I just said that this guy plays above his, objectively speaking, his rating. He's 2284. Oh my goodness, this looks bad. But I don't think. Wait a sec. If he plays a rook, wait a sec, can a man play rook c8, and if queen d7, rook c7, if rook d7, queen e8 threatens rook c7, I don't see, no. So wait a sec, rook c8, I'm talking about rook dc8, rook takes d7, queen e8, queen e8, and now he threatens rook c7. Let's say this guy plays b3 to defend that queen, and then I go with a move, a6. Yeah, a6 to play b5. That's the only move. That's the only thing I see here as well. Rook c8, rook d7, queen d7 does not work because of rook takes c7. This is not lost. This is not lost. That's a good news. That's a good news. This is not lost. So I believe he just found the only move to save this game. So rook takes d7, queen e8, b3, a6 with the idea of b5 taking that queen away and threatening rook c7, but maybe not even a6. There are like plenty other ideas and possibilities there as well. Let's go to the game of Saric. Saric playing Quesada. Saric is slightly worse, exactly. And on their level, it's always very, very unpleasant because these guys are very experienced and they know how to grind you down. They know how to grind you down. Look at this. This pawn on e4 looks way better than our pawn on d5. I'm talking about the passed pawn and ability to convert that. Bishop on b5 looks better than bishop on b3. Pawn on a2 looks potentially weak. Pawn on d5 I find weak, unlike the pawn on e4, which is like a passed pawn and looks good. I definitely think this is practically better for black, and this is going to be on their level very tough for defending for white. Although objectively this is just a bit better for white. So sorry, for black. And let's go to the game of Castellanos against Iturrizaga. Once again, Castellanos out of great position. He's now down a piece, but he has like a whole bunch of pawns. And once again, my words has just been proven. So this guy, Iturrizaga, has pretty suspicious openings, but in the game if his openings are for like 2400, his play tonight is for like 2800. So he's really strong. He's known as a player who's very strong, you know, at his play, but out of his openings, he's just having some problems. Okay, Castellanos is a bit worse here. It's not lost, but practically when you play against almost 2700 guys, it's very hard to hold them. Okay, let's bishop b7. He probably should play the b4. He has to start pushing these pawns, but this is difficult. Probably this is way worse. So let's go for the game of Kleinman. Kleinman is completely winning now. He went for the knight e4. That's a good news. Kleinman plays really good, and I regret for losing that game against Iturrizaga in the first round because he really had a great position. Kleinman is completely winning. We don't even want to watch this game. He's gonna win, and that's a great news. Let's go to Hembo. His position is defendable. He's down a piece at the moment, but he threatens rook takes c7. On queen d1 I see bishop c6, and I don't see what should he do on b3. That's what I don't see. I do not see what to do if b3, because b3 simply defends the queen and I can move. But the point is, I cannot move neither of my pieces, neither my rook on d7 nor bishop on c7. So I kind of like this position for Hambleton. I mean, speaking from defensive point of view, I don't see how is he going to benefit from being up a piece at a moment. So if bishop f4, he will always have bishop c6. If rook moves, he takes on c7. This is good. He found a great defense. But yeah, he found a great defense there. We spoke about this. Somebody asked me, what if queen d1? If queen d1, bishop c6, right? Queen d1, bishop c6, and if rook moves, then you take on. And somebody said on b3, b5, and what if queen takes b5? Rook takes c7. Yeah, fantastic. b3, b5, queen b5, rook takes c7. Congratulations, I like it. Yeah, so Hembo is good. And you know what? If this guy's running out of time, his position is gonna get more and more worse. Okay, this is bishop c6. I like it. Hembo equalized. Hembo equalized. That's a good news. That's a good news. Hembo equalized. He's not gonna lose. At one point, I just thought, oh my God, he just blundered that piece. He was about to resign, but he found a fantastic resource there. Saric is defending. His position looks way better now than it used to be because bishops are off the board. When bishops are off the board, now the c7 pawn is like weaker. Okay, this is okay. This is okay. Saric can defend this position very easily. So let's move to Saric game and let's see what is happening there. So yeah, Saric's position is fine. I like this one. Now it's around equal. I even see some threats with rook c7 and g7 weakness. If he takes on c7, at some point he might even have a chance, might be in chance to win this game. Why 23? Why so inactive? Probably this guy wants to play rook e1. Watch this out. This is nice trick. Quesada wants to play rook c7, rook e1, queen g3, rook h1. And it's a very nice and a very sneaky tactics by black. So I'm not entirely impressed with this queen e3 move, even though it stops the a3 by black. Let's go to Kleinman. Kleinman won, so we finally have one win after such a bad round. So it's 5-4. Kleinman, congratulations, great game, great Caracan. That's a great thing. Let's go to Rainier Castellanos against Iturrizaga. Castellanos against Iturrizaga. Castellanos tries to defend his position so hard. Objectively speaking, his position got worsened ever since we checked it last time. So I think he won't be able, considering the fact that this guy is really strong in his play, that he is like higher rated opponent, that he even has more time, that he's up a piece. He would have like very big troubles to do something in this game, but let's hope he can save something somehow in mutual time trouble. So let's move to the game of Saric. Let's move to the game of Saric. Saric played d6. Saric played d6. I really don't know how would he play if rook a3 was played in that position. And what if now if rook a3 was winning for black? As far as I see, rook a3, queen g3. But this guy missed it, which is fantastic, because Saric was lost in one move as far as I see. I even see many of you actually threw that out into the chat room and said, what if rook a3? Yes, that was winning. As far as I see, that was winning, unless we blundered something, but okay. Okay, so this is good. Now his position looks good. What's gonna happen? King h7. King h7. Saric has some counter chances here. What if he has to, his queen is tied up for the pawn on f4. He can never play queen g3 because of rook h1. Rook h6 doesn't work still. Somebody said he was completely rook h6. He came up with tactics. I was thinking about this, but I don't see what if. I don't see like the full combination. So if rook d7, king h6, king h8, queen d4, Saric came up with fantastic tactics. Quesada is on his knees. He's gonna beg for a draw. Looks like he's gonna beg for a draw in this game. So if g takes h6, rook d7, king h8, queen d4, checkmate. If king g8, queen b3, checkmate. So queen h6. If queen h6, rook h6, and queen b6 comes with a check. Queen b6 comes with a check. Saric also, he has queen g3, such an interesting move, but pawn is a pawn, and queen e6 now. Go for the queen e6 and try to win another pawn there. Saric should be better, if not completely winning. At the moment, result is 5-4 for Chessbrahs. This could be a turning point of the match. He plays g4. Okay, he's also 2 minutes up. This is great. This is good move. But he has time to take on f5, rook e8. I don't like rook e8. Rook e8, fantastic move. Wants to go on e8, supporting the passed pawn. Very dangerous. But you know what? He has queen g6 and f6. And f6 now. But f6 is only enough for the draw as far as I see. f6, rook takes f6 doesn't work. Queen e8. If g takes f6, he will have a perpetual check. So let's see. F6, g takes f6, queen h6, king g8. I don't see how to win this one. I don't see how to win this one. That's a problem. But okay, he was lost. He was lost, and even draw would be fine here. Kleinman won. How is Aman doing? Aman seems to be much better. Let's go. Let's switch to Aman's game. Aman has a bishop pair. Okay, both guys are running out of their time, but that's Aman's chance. Let's go, Aman. You are the shining star of these teams, so you have to prove your skills. Aman seems to be completely winning because this guy... no, sorry. I thought that he was losing knight, but he has b4, c takes b3, knight takes b3, e takes f4, and bishop c3. Aman is winning. Aman is winning. b4, c takes b3, knight b3, e takes c4, bishop takes c3, and he's winning. Let's go. So e takes f4 now. Check. And take the pawn on c3 with a tempi. This should be dead winning. a6 now. Solidify your game. Exactly. Bishop g2. a5 now. Push those pawns. Or f6. Okay. It's a nice thing. Aman is gonna win this. He's always good when he's in control. He's definitely here in control. He's in the driver's seat, so this is good. Bishop e6. Aman is winning. Aman is winning. Bishop exactly, threatening like bishop c5. And then to start pushing these pawns, a5 and b4. Go on a5. Go on a5 and play bishop b6. He goes for bishop a3. Okay, same thing. Aman is winning. Saric is at least around the draw. We saw that f6 moved to make a draw. So b4, that's a good thing. Yeah, he's gonna win. This is now dead winning. Bishop takes a2. This guy should call it a day. He should definitely throw the towel into the ring. b3, Aman. Push that pawn, baby. Push it, sweetheart. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Aman won the game. What a comeback. Actually, that's chess. He was completely winning previous game. He lost, but now he was... At some point, we thought he was even lost, but he switched the things in his favor. Saric drew against Quesada. So now we have 6-5, and we have one game ongoing. Itorizaga won by resignation, and finally Kleinman won. So that would be all. 6.5 to 5.5. Quite an interesting round. Saric was completely lost at some point. His opponent had rook a3, queen g3. That would be winning for black. On the other hand, Hambleton won almost completely lost game, but it wasn't lost because he found that fantastic defensive resource with rook c8, queen e8, and bishop c6. Kleinman made a great win from its beginning till the end, and Castellanos surprisingly great position out of. You know what? Let's take a look at the Castellanos game. Let's take a look at the Castellanos game, and let's go for the moment where he played, where he played knight f6, and where I thought all the time that he could have gone with the knight f7. Let's go for that variation. Knight f7, king f7, knight f6, queen f6, c takes b5. Was I right? Come on, man. Come on. I think that I saw a great tactics. Knight f7, king f7, knight f6, queen f6, c takes b5. Castellanos was winning there. Castellanos was winning there. I kept mentioning this variation while they played, because after knight a5, bishop takes b7, knight takes b7, queen d5. Definitely he missed the tactics. He missed the tactics. I believe that was a great tactics. That I immediately thought about. Somebody said, what if king f6? Come on, don't tell me that you want to play king f6. What are we talking about? Are you sane, man? King f6. So of course c takes b5. What else? King f6, c takes b5. I can't even play something else. You cannot be a serious chess player and to tell me that you want to play like king f6. Come on, are you serious? On the other hand, afterwards, instead of knight f7, he played knight f6, king f6, c take. He was better. It's a big pity that he keeps missing his chances in this match. He missed a great position against Acor in the previous round. He now missed a great tactics against Iturrizaga. He was almost winning there. I said almost winning there, but okay, this is pretty tough match. Last round we will have some real games now. Difficulty. Actually, I was about to say the difficulty is Saric is going to be black against Iturrizaga. What I realized about Iturrizaga, his openings are not on the highest level. So maybe it's a good thing, because Saric is known as a great theoretical player, and maybe Iturrizaga won't be able to benefit from his white pieces. Okay. That's one thing. Another thing, Hambleton will be white or no. Castellanos will be white against Quesada. Hambleton will be favorite, and Kleinman will be favorite. We're slight favorites before this last round. This is okay. We're leading 6.5 to 5.5. Very tough match, with a lot of pressure on both sides, and a lot of comebacks from both teams. Okay, we're still waiting for the last round to begin. So this is going to be the final round. Just like I said, I believe that this game could be crucial game in the whole match. Iturrizaga white against Saric, but okay. Let's be honest, Iturizaga's openings are not on the highest level. So let's see what's going to happen there. That's the first thing. Second thing, we just have to see if Hambo will be able to crush that guy Ludwig. Does he make 0 out of 3? Does he make 0 out of 3? And this could be a real thing. And finally, we have Fort Worth Kleinman but he's gonna be white against Corey Acor. So this is good. We have like this is like really interesting moment of the match. Even though they have like the white pieces on the first board, I believe we're favorites still. 6.5 to 2.5 is not like a big advantage, but it's something that gives us definitely more nerves in this crucial moment. Nerve-wracking games. Okay, by the way, don't forget, we're not going to do anything against your donations. Thank you so much for your subscribing. All these things will be able to pop up in the end of this stream and broadcasting. By the way, this is the commentary, live commentary of the Pro League season 2008. I hope you like my commentary. My name is Miodrag Perunovic. I'm international master, and I will keep providing these commentaries for the next, hopefully 10 weeks. So let's go. Hambleton white against Ludwig. That's a good thing. Hambo needs to be white. We put all our hopes in Hambo. Ludwig lost all his games tonight, as far as I remember. So this is a good thing. Okay. So he played bishop d3, knight h3, and knight g2. I believe I spoke to him about this. Oh, knight f3. He played this one. Okay. That's what I played in my last tournament. I beat Benelli player. It's considered to be one of the toughest opening against the Benelli because you play against the light square bishop, you stop the bishop g4 possibility, you limit that bishop, and that's a good thing. Okay, let's go. I like Hambo's choice. Crucial round of the match. We're leading 6.5 to 5.5. Very intense match. Let's go. Knight h5, typical thing. He wants to play any bishop g5, bishop f6. And so now he's going to play knight e7. He wants to take control of the dark squares, not bishop e2 immediately. Bishop e2 should be played if the knight comes to e5. I believe he should have gone with bishop g5. And if bishop f6, placing the knight on a bad square, then bringing the bishop back to e3. But okay, Hambo played it immediately, so probably he knows what he's doing there. I'll be honest with you, I know that we always should play knight after knight e5. We should play bishop e2. So bishop e2 comes when the knight comes on e5, but okay, he played it immediately, so I guess he knows what he's doing. Michael Kleinman against Corey Acor. Oh, Kleinman went for d4, knight f6. So let's move to that game. Kleinman against Corey Acor. d4, knight f6, b4, bishop f4. Kleinman went for the rest of system, bishop f4, d6, knight c3. This rest of system became very popular lately. Knight bd7, knight f3, h6, h4, g6, queen d2, bishop g7. That h6 I don't like at all, because Kleinman anyways was intending to play bishop f4, queen d2, doing the battery, and when he does the battery, pawn on h6 will be forever weak. So black will never be able to make short castle because the h6 would be weak. Okay, so bishop f4, queen d2, lining up these pieces and doing the battery against the h6 pawn. Castle long, nice. He now wants to go and to follow up with e4 and e5. I like Kleinman's position already. I believe white is a bit better. Let's switch to the game of Iturrizaga and Saric, and I believe this is one of the most crucial games of the match. So Iturrizaga, absolutely the best player in Miami Champions. I believe he won all the games, and he won all those games playing impressively his middle games. So he's extremely strong in the middle games. It was c4, c5, knight c3, and now you just see the opening. Let's just see the final position between these guys. Saric played rook b8, knight e5. Okay, let's discuss about this position. So let's briefly check the opening part, and then come to the final position. Like you see, these guys were blitzing out their opening. They're pretty much familiar with his ideas. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I don't see any problems for Saric in this opening. And that's exactly what I told you. He's not going to have any problems out of the opening. That's so obvious. Iturrizaga is not like on the top of his skills when it comes to the openings, but don't forget he's now facing the strongest chessbrah tonight. Even Saric is almost 2700 player, and if he gets the advantage out of the opening, it's going to be very difficult for Iturrizaga to make another comeback. But okay, position is roughly equal, or let's just say around unclear, so this is good. This is good. A6 followed by B5. He also wants to play A6 followed by B5, and he also wants to play E6 followed by D5. I fully like Black's game. I don't see any problems for Black. Any B4 should be placed, should be actually answered by C takes B4 and B5, but he doesn't take on B4 immediately. He immediately goes for B5. I like this one. Saric has a very nice game, and he doesn't have any problems. We'll once again get back to this game. I'm very interested in game of Aman Hambleton. I'm very interested in a game of Aman Hambleton because Aman's game is also one of the crucial games of the match, because Aman has to be the player who has to break the defense of this guy, John Ludwig. Simply, Aman is better player, he's white, Ludwig is making perfect score, 0 out of 3. So let's just keep this guy on his perfect score, and Queen C7 for Black. Okay, yes, this is good. I like, you know what do I like here? I like Rook AC1 followed by B4. But usually in these positions, they don't go for Rook AC1. He wants to play B4 now. I like it. I thought about Queen A5, but Queen A5 does not work because D6 pawn is hanging. Aman wants to play B4. This is great. He threatens B4. This looks very threatening. And somebody said that Ludwig had a draw with Saric. Okay, so no perfect score for him. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry for that. Yeah, Saric was much better in that game, almost winning another thrown game. But okay, Saric was maybe winning that one, but then he was lost against Quesada. So everything comes sooner or later to its place in a chess match or during the chess tournament. 97. Typical Benelli player looking for control of the dark squares and wants to go on E5. Good idea. I like it. By the way, somebody asked, what is the average rating of the teams? This is very interesting competition because it's not allowed to any team to have more than 2,500 average rating. That actually makes this tournament special and this Pro League special, because even if you have a Carlsen in your team, it's not enough, because Carlsen has to be compensated by some 1,900 or 2,000 guy on the other hand. And basically, your team always needs to fulfill the average rating of 2,500. That's an interesting part of this team. Actually, let's get back to the game. I spoke about B4 for Aman. He shouldn't wait too much here. That's why he played Rook AC1. That's the only way to benefit from this knight on, from this bishop on F4. So this is okay. This is okay. What is a bit better? Let's get back to the game of Kleinman against Acor. Kleinman has great position. Kleinman's pieces are very active. He's opening. Actually, Kleinman probably of all the Chessbrahs showed like the most stability in tonight's match. Yes, he did lose that game against Iturrizaga, but that game was really nice. So let's take a look and let's discuss about this Kleinman's game. So let's discuss about this Kleinman's game. So first of all, his knight on d4 looks dominating. It can always jump on f5. That's the first thing. Second thing, his bishop on g3 keeps controlling good this d file, this d6 pawn. Yes, I would also go with an f3 possibility sooner or later. It's screaming to be played. And now f4, exactly. He just wants to create some weaknesses in the black's game. He wants to recapture by bishop. Afterwards, go after the weak pawn on h6. This really looks good for him. So let's follow this game, because Kleinman's game could also be so important, especially because he's white. And this is what I spoke about in the beginning of this match, that our main advantage in the match should be on the last two boards, because Hambo and Kleinman are better than Ludwig and Corey Acor. So this is good. This is good. So let's carry on with the analysis of these games. We're now following the game. We're following the last round of the last round of the first round of the new season Pro League match, and we're just leading 6.5 to 5.5. So this is deciding round. Watch this out. Kleinman's position looks great. He really looks good there. He can play here bishop takes c4. I would open up my back rank and open up my rooks like this. Maybe I would lose the bishop here, but I kind of like this one. And this really looks nice. So bishop c4, knight c4, queen to d3. That seems to be fine. Also, we have to check the game of Castellanos. So let's check the game of Castellanos there, and let's see what is happening in his position. Okay. Just a moment. I'm just setting up a board. So Castellanos against Quesada. Castellanos is in serious problems. He went for the Scheveningen. Quesada went for this bishop e2, bishop e3, queen d2. A very unusual idea that was used a couple of times by Michael Adams and Peter Lecco. In practice, that is one of the most difficult variations with white, especially because he never went to castle. There he came up with some tricks. Castellanos is in serious problems. He's in serious problems here. Looks like it's very hard to believe that having black pieces being in such a bad position, you can make some crazy comeback, but everything is possible. Okay, and once again, I believe it's time to check the game of the match, because this has to be the game of the match between Ivan Saric and Iturrizaga. So let's go there and let's check that game. So Iturrizaga white. Oh my goodness, Saric is completely winning. I told you it's not gonna be easy to this guy. Exactly, because maybe he had luck against lower rated guys. He killed everybody in his middle games, but against 2600 actually almost the guy who's 2700. It's not gonna work this way. This looks great. Saric is certainly not going to lose his to miss his chance. Let's go back to the move 16, because that's where we stopped for the first time. So move 16, a takes c takes b5, a takes b5, castles. Saric played a6 to anticipate both of these knights. Rook d1, and now he played queen e7. After like bishop e2, he played knight f to g4, going after the pawn on f2, and after queen e2, went for queen a7. An amazing tactical trick and a game by Saric. Rook fc8, brilliantly developing all his pieces. Bishop a8, full potential for all his pieces. And after knight c3, he sacked this knight on f3. That was crazy. That was crazy. I like this one so much. The point is, if after knight f2, queen takes f2, he would go for knight g4, c takes b4. Oh, this is an amazing tactics. Rook takes b5, and now he's dead winning. Now he's dead winning. He's not gonna miss this one, believe me. He is 20. He's very experienced, first of all. Secondly, his position is like completely winning here, and he's not gonna miss this one. So this is great. This is great. This is great. And should he take on a3? Should he play knight g4 first? Should he play? I mean, anything he does is dead winning. Anything. Play b takes a. Play b takes a. Oh, rook on b5 is hanging. So he probably should play rook b8 or queen b8. Yeah, or anything. Actually, he's dead winning. So let me just tell you, this is the last round of the first match in this league this year. Saric seems to be completely winning against Iturrizaga. Iturrizaga now went for this move. I believe he's so close to shake Saric's hand in this game. Queen a1 even should be winning for black, even that one. By the way, Iturrizaga is now throwing some, let's just say, cheap tactical possibilities to win here. So he wants to play rook a6 most likely here, but rook a6 queen b4. Yeah, Saric doesn't want to take any risks, so he just wants to take on b4 and eventually win the game. This is good. This is good. Okay, so if rook a6 queen b4, I believe every single moment we can expect by Iturrizaga to resign this game. So this is the game of the match. Yes, that's it. Saric won. It's 7.5 to 5.5, and all we need is one more point. Congratulations. Great game, fantastic tactics with the knight takes f2. I really like this one a lot. Now let's go to the game of Kleinman. Kleinman had a great position. He had a great position, and he's another guy who could be one of a crucial players and decisive factors in this match. Although I still like his position, but no, it's a little bit okay. Maybe I don't like it anymore that much, because his king is definitely misplaced on c1. Actually, I would say that this is completely crazy game, and I would not put high stakes on white's position here. I wouldn't put high stakes on black's position. This is like very crazy counter a game with mutual chances. Let's go to the game of Hambleton. Let's go to the game of Hambleton. Hambleton has to win. He's got a better position out of the opening. Everything seems to be way better there. So all we need is like 2 more draws or 1 win. Hambo goes with 92. Yes. Why does he go with this? He wants to bring his bishop back to b1 to play knight d4 and put that knight on c6 eventually. But okay. Okay. So if bishop b1, knight d4, knight c6, Aman should... Okay, Aman is a little bit better in this position, but I was expecting something more energetic out of a great position at some point that he had. Let's go to the game of Uniaski, Quesada, and Castellanos. Oh, Castellanos made this position a little bit crazier. Okay, he made this position. He's still worse. That's obvious, but okay, I don't dislike this position that much anymore. So definitely things are moving fast, changing fast, and we can never say, you know, that from the second round we were so winning on all the games, and we even lost that round 3-1. So probably, let me just check the number of pawns. He's down 2 pawns at the moment. Okay, he's gonna get that pawn back on d5 and he'll be down a pawn. But okay, this position is defendable. So he can play queen takes d5, bishop d5. I just want to remind you guys, before we just go to severe time troubles and to crazy positions where pieces will just keep moving fast. Next week, around the same time, second round, and by the way, you can just check on new website of the Pro League. Just find it here on chess.com. You can find the proleague.com, something like that, and find the schedules, find the teams, find the players. For example, Magnus Carlsen played tonight for Norway Gnomes. Don't forget, we crushed the Norway Gnomes last year, but Magnus Carlsen crushed absolutely everybody tonight. He made 4 out of 4, and somebody even said he made one of the best games in all these Pro League games so far. He made a remarkable tactical sacrifice like everything, and won with a very calm move, rook g6. Check that out, game afterwards. Now let's get back to this match and to this game of Quesada against Castellanos. It's Castellanos' turn. He's worse, but position is still with mutual chances. Okay. Don't forget, Saric already crushed Iturrizaga, so we're just leading 7.5 to 5.5. Let's go to Hambleton. Let's go to Hambleton, whose position is a bit better. And what I like about his game is that he's in the driver's seat, definitely here. He's got a bit better position, and for the first time in the match, he doesn't have problems with his time, which means that he remains with not just with a slight positional advantage, but also time advantage, which forces him to play on the win end. Of course, that actually means that he's in a really good situation to win this game. John Ludwig keeps losing his time. How should Hambo play this? He has 2 ways to switch, to actually swap off these dark square bishops with bishop h6, or to bring that bishop back to g3 or h2 and to push some f4 and maybe 5 f5, something like that. So, okay. So I like this game for Aman. Position is easy. Usually in Benoni, when you manage to block this passed pawn on c4 with a knight on c3, everything is good for white. Okay, so let's move to the game of Kleinman and Corey Acor. Position is completely crazy. It's very difficult for me to assess this one. I mean, right off the bat, I would say that I would probably take rather black than white. I'm just trying to be fully honest with you. Because a file is open, he threatens queen a5, he threatens the rook. I'm not entirely sure how should white play here. Knight b5, queen a5. On knight b5, I would play queen a5, and now two things would hang. Rook on d6 and pawn on a2. So I don't like knight b5. But that's why I told you if I had to choose the side, I would always be black rather than white. Because position looks crazy and the king looks way weaker on c1 than the king on g8. So this is bad. This is bad. I'm not fully happy with white's game. Also, he lost that rook. This really goes bad for him. Let's move to the probably crucial game for this match. It's Hambleton against. Actually, before Hambleton, let's go to the game of Castellanos to check it again. Castellanos is also suffering. Castellanos is also suffering. His position is worse. He's down a pawn, so he won't be able, or he will hardly be able to save this game. That's why I said let's just briefly check these two games. Objectively speaking, okay. So let's just see. No, let's go to Aman's game. Let's go to Aman's game because Aman has to win the game. Don't forget, Saric won, which means that we're leading 7.5 to 5.5. But also don't forget, Castellanos is in worse position, and Kleinman is in way worse position. So that's why we just have to look very carefully at this game. Okay, Aman's position really looks good. He's got advantage. Okay, knight f6, f3. I would play f3 and I would march up to d4 with my king. King f2, king e3, king d4. After f3, I would also play h4, g4, getting some space on the king side. I think this looks good for white. This is one of those positions where white has everything in control. And don't forget, this game decides everything. I'll once again shortly go back to the games of, but afterwards, not immediately. We'll once again and very, very briefly check the games of Kleinman and Castellanos, but a bit later. But I don't think they have any chances. That's why we just have to put full focus on this one. He's taking some time. Probably he wants to decide whether he should go with f4 and d5 or f3. If I was in Aman's place, I would go with more solid approach, f3, but he goes with f4. Okay, that's a style of play. By the way, he can support the d5 pawn with rook cd1, and after rook cd1, he can go with king f2, g4. Rook e7, yes, that's why I would play f3, not to create weakness on e4. That's why I think usually that's a rule. You can always push your pawns for two ranks, so don't rush to push them too easily, because there is no way back. But if you move it for only one rank, then there is always a possibility to afterwards do it and push it more if needed. Okay, let's go. Pretty difficult game. Pretty difficult game and very difficult match. Turns out to be exactly the way we all expected. G4, yes, he needs to release the pressure from the e4 pawn, because rook e7, rook e8, knight f6, they all go against the pawn on e4. That's why I suggested to play f3 instead of this move. But okay, I like this g4 because he really needs to play g5, removing the pressure from the e4 pawn. Okay, so it's now maybe g5 and h4. Now maybe g5 and h4. Okay, he's solidifying his game. This is going to be a very difficult match. This is going to be very, very, very intense. Time trouble. So I keep looking at some tactics. e5, d takes, d6, rook e6, f5, but it doesn't work, because after g5, rook takes f5, and they have like so much compensation. G5. I like G5. I like G5 because it doesn't only limit all the black pieces, but it also gives white maybe h4, h5, a rook h1 with the attack on the h file. H takes, h takes. Okay. Rook h1, reasonable. What I like about Aman's game right now, he managed to put up the pressure from the e4 pawn, and now he can breathe easier. So I like his position now. He doesn't have any more problems with an e4 pawn. There is no counter attack. Don't forget, the pawn on c4 is just well controlled by the knight on c3. It's not anymore. Actually, you always have to consider passed pawns like a potential danger that you face off in your games. But here, that's not a point, because the knight is on c3 and it controls everything. Also, keep in mind that the bishop on b7 is really bad. We just keep watching this game, because if somebody can update us how the positions look like in Castellanos' game, now king to d4. King to d4 with full control of the game. Then he's choosing the moment to play e5. I don't know, why does he think here? Am I missing something after king to d4? He spent like 20 seconds on that, probably because of this. Huh? Probably because of this, but even f5 works now. Even f5. f5, knight g3, rook g1. Knight e2 does not work because knight is on c3. f5, he takes f5, he takes on h5. We have to take advantage of the game that Saric won against Iturrizaga. I mean, that's such a great win, especially with the black pieces. But I told you, Iturrizaga had so much luck tonight with his better openings, but with his really great middle game skills, that it had to backfire him sooner or later. Rook f1, I like this one. Rook g1 now. Hambo is in time trouble. This is very, very nerve-wracking, because crucial game and he's playing on such a low time. But okay, we all know that he's one of the best blitz players. So this guy offered him a draw. Hambo just rejected a draw with 6 seconds on the clock. But don't forget, I forgot to tell you, they play 15 minutes plus 2 seconds increment on each move. He now threatens some f6. Does he threaten f6 at all? He does not. He doesn't threaten f6 right now. Okay, nice. Finding better place for that knight. King c3, good. Now knight e3. He can easily give up this bishop. Okay, bishop e2, limiting the knight. He has to play faster. He's playing with our nerves. I don't know what about you, but he's playing with my nerves. Bishop e2, go back. Oh, he's not going to be able to win this one. I guarantee. I mean, it's very difficult to win this one. Only if he reaches the e8 square somehow. But he's gonna reach it because if the king moves, then e5. Bishop e8 now. Why not bishop e8? Now you know what is he doing now? Now he's playing fast moves, adding time on his clock, so he can come up with some plans with the more time for him on the clock. Let's see what's gonna happen there. But he won't be able to win this one. Oh. No, he can't win this one. He should probably play like 5 more moves to add couple more seconds on his clock in to come up with something, but I don't think he could win this one. He's now trying to win. Wow, on king e5 wants to come up with some f6 trick. He went for the last trick. If king e5 f6, that would be a nice trick to win the game, but Ludwig won't fall for that, and looks like this is going to end as a draw. Okay, I can't stop now because he's so low on time, and I can't go on another games because you never... Yes, game draw by repetition. Kleinman lost, and Junieski, Quesada, Druso, Montreal, Chessbrahs won this match 8.5 to 7.5.